Okay. All right. Welcome to the Iron Chef Cooking Club introduction. My name is Emily Hamilton. I'm the Community Partnerships Specialist over at Gleaners in Livingston. I will let the others who are here with me introduce themselves before I get going through our slideshow here.
Hi, I'm Roger Burnett. I am the head of sales and marketing for Social Good Promotions, which is a Livingston County-based women-owned marketing agency that specializes in helping nonprofits like Gleaners help advance their message about what they do in the marketplace. Thanks for having us, Emily. We're really, really excited to partner with you guys on this project.
Thank you, Roger. And I'm Bridget Brown. I'm the Director of Food Secure Livingston, which is just overseeing what we do out here to make sure that families have what they need in the community that might be food insecure. And I'm thankful for everybody that's listening to this so that we can make a difference in Livingston County.
All right. So most of you are probably familiar with the Gleaners Mission from working with us in the past, but we do exist to provide households with access to sufficient nutritious food and the related resources surrounding that. We work with agencies that are in the area and collaborate with them to, we work together to make sure that people, when they come to see us, that they can get enough food so that they can do things like pay their water bill instead of worrying about groceries, or they can pay for their car payment instead of worrying about groceries, things like that. So we're working really hard, especially right now during the coronavirus pandemic, to make sure that people can do that. We have worked extensively, really hard since March to provide people with food and other resources through a couple different channels, emergency mobiles, food boxes, and we've served a lot of households. I have some updated statistics. I'm not sure, Bridget, is this one of the areas that you had updated statistics?
I think it's most relevant to just let people know that in Livingston County, because of the COVID, really there's a projected 9,500 individuals in this community that are going to be in need. That puts us well over 25,000 in the community that are food insecure, meaning that they don't know where their next meal is coming from. That's a huge jump. That also includes 16% of which are children. So we have a lot to do in this realm, and Iron Chef in the past couple of years has helped us raise money for our school efforts that Emily's going to kind of go through in a couple minutes here, but it's helped us raise money for those school efforts and just make sure that, you know, our future is intact and that we're all working together toward the same goal. Hopefully we can overcome this pandemic here soon, but you know, we have a lot of work to continue to do, especially as we ramp up into the holidays.
You can go to the next slide, Roger. So inside of our pantry, we haven't been able to do any client choice shopping. That's where the client comes inside of our pantry and kind of walks through the aisles like a traditional grocery store. But we have been able to have people come through, stay in their cars wearing masks, and we have had volunteers. We just recently started having our volunteers kind of do the same model where people come through and choose what they want. And the volunteers have been going through our pantry to choose what they want through what the client wants through our pantry and bring that out to their cars. So we've been able to serve them through that model in our pantry. We also have our fresh market, which is every week where people get fresh produce, milk, eggs, cheese, things like that. And we've also been serving people through senior and school food mobiles. Sorry, the next slide kind of threw me off. But, our school programs, which many people are probably familiar with, through the summer, we partner with Salvation Army to do the summer lunch bunch program, which serves throughout Livingston County. Kids get to go and do a fun activity, then they get a meal bag, they get to have lunch. That's a really popular program. But then this summer, that was obviously widely popular, but then we also had a lot of school mobiles, which were really popular. The backpack program where kids during the weekend, we're seeing that right now. We're trying to address that with some of our, at the bottom, you can see Mission Nutrition Livingston. We're trying to figure out how do we address that gap with kids who are remote learning right now. That backpack program is sending kids home with meals. Normally they're eating at school. How do they eat on the weekends? Obviously the food pantry here, I discussed how we're kind of running that now during the coronavirus pandemic. You can go to the next slide, Roger. So I talked about those school food mobiles. Here's the three that we that are mentioned on this slide: Howell, Pinckney, and Fowlerville. We also recently just began one out in Heartland because the need is also great out there. We found that kids are getting their needs met for the most part eating at school, but like I mentioned, you know, there's kids who are remote learning. There's kids who are having, some districts have days that are remote at school, and so the need is still there. Kids are still hungry, their families are still hungry, so these mobiles are really popular. Kids are coming to eat, and their families are getting food for a couple of weeks at a time, every time that we serve these families. So we're really happy that they are so popular and that they're able to continue. So far we have the dates going through December, but it looks like we're going to be able to continue them past December as well.
And just to emphasize, for each of these programs that we do, whether it be mobile distributions or it be the pantry, we're really looking to be sure that all of our families get all the nutrition they need. So we're not just collecting ramen noodles, we're making sure that families have fruits, vegetables, meat, all the different food categories, especially as we're serving children and seniors that are at risk for losing some of the nutrition that they need for their health. We have done those massive efforts to make sure that we're really getting out there with what people ask for, what they need, and to have those full, honest, full meals for our people in Livingston County.
Yeah, I mentioned that fresh market as well. That is every Wednesday here at our pantry in Howell. It's from 10 to 1 in the morning, or 10 a.m. in the morning till 1 p.m. in the afternoon, then also again in the evening, and no, you don't need an appointment. And they get fresh fruit, vegetables, milk, and eggs, and then we often have bakery items that we can give them too. You can go to the next slide. So Bridget, do you want to talk about why we are doing an Iron Chef Cooking Club?
Sure. Well, I sounded very positive there. It really isn't that positive of a thing, but we're looking forward to what we've kind of come up with. So our Iron Chef event, usually we host in August. And this year with the pandemic, we just knew we weren't going to be able to host it again. Usually it's in Bourdines has been fantastic as a host for us. We take the greenhouse, we totally transform it into a kitchen stadium where chefs compete against each other. We're always looking for chefs, by the way, to compete against each other. So mind that for our future events. But we decided this past year, we need to take a step back and we need to say, where are our priorities? We need to be sure that health for the community is at the forefront. We tried a whole bunch of different ideas to try to get the event in person, but it just, at the end of the day, that's what our concern was. And we needed to make sure people stayed healthy. So we decided to cancel the event, unfortunately. And so obviously that's a huge revenue loss for us, especially in Livingston County. We just talked about all the school programs and the pantry program that we have. We've been able to make up some of the money in other ways, but we're still significantly down. And that has all helped us historically, meet our budget, make sure that people in need have what they need going forward. So it was a hard decision to make, but we did that with the hope that we could build out a program like Gleaners Iron Chef Cooking Club, and host hopefully another event next year, where every month now we're talking about this effort. So it was a really hard, tough thing to do. We've had it running for 15 years, so it's not something that came lightly to anyone on the team, but it was necessary, and we hope everybody understands. We got positive feedback from the community as to, hey, thank you for keeping health in mind. But we have a lot of work to do now to make up for it. So anyway, thank you for those that are attending. That's essentially why we had to cancel Iron Chef this past year, but we'll go on to our new plans now.
So, and with that, I will jump in. So as we imagine the event going forward, we wanted to make sure that there were some elements of what goes on that we didn't lose sight of, which, for those of you who've participated in this event, either as an attendee or as someone who's been competing in it, what we know is it is a load of fun. And if anything is really beyond the sadness that we feel over the lost donation dollars, it's that idea that we all hold so dear around the idea of once a year, we're all going to get together and we're going to celebrate the work that Gleaners does at the same time of watching a competition that's based on food. So it makes perfect sense for us to want to align those two things in a way that is a memorable event. And if you watch any of the videos of the winner presentations in years past, it's very palpable how much energy there is around that competition in the room. But there's some things that it really kind of made difficult for other folks in the community to want to participate. So if you didn't necessarily have a chef who felt confident enough to want to compete in that competition, yet you still wanted to support Gleaners, we wanted to create a way for those of you in the community who would want to do that without being in the actual competition to have a chance to do that. And then what COVID has taught us from a nonprofit fundraising perspective is that it makes a lot of sense to create a relationship with people who traditionally support Gleaners that doesn't necessarily culminate in one giant fundraising event once a year. So we wanted to reimagine the cooking club in a way that could recur more frequently, that could give more people an opportunity to participate and be a lot of fun in the process. So that was really the three foundational aspects we looked at to say, what is it that we might want to create to give this life in a way that is still true to the competition, but yet allows us to really expand the footprint of what goes on within the community with Gleaners from a fundraising perspective. And what we really think is by having created the cooking club, what we're going to give participants from a local merchant perspective, a chance to really gain a lot more exposure on a consistent and repeated basis by virtue of participation in what we've created in the cooking club. And there's really, from an exposure perspective, there's really two reasons that most businesses are looking for exposure. One is to create goodwill in the community. And what better opportunity for you as a business to create goodwill in the community than to show your affiliation with a food insecurity nonprofit that has proven to be very effective in its job here in Livingston County. So by virtue of your association with Gleaners, what you're really doing is telling people who support Gleaners Mission that you too care about food insecurity in the county, and therefore we expect that supporters of Gleaners would be more interested in your business as a result. And then secondarily, what we would tell you is it's important for you to be able to show your work about what you care about as a business in the community right now via social media, because as people are concerned about what they might spend their dollars on, maybe more so now than ever because of COVID and what's going on, if you can then show that you are rallying around a cause in the community that people care about and post all of those efforts on social media, you're giving yourself the best opportunity for members of the community to see you in that light. That might be the difference between them making a decision to spend money with you or spend money with somebody else that does something similar to what you do in our county. So what we tried to do is, in keeping with knowing that we wanted it to be as inclusive as possible, knowing that we wanted it to be as fun as possible, and really give you the opportunity to get that halo effect, what we try to do is construct a structure that allows you to participate regardless of the size of your business. Additionally, what we wanted to do is make it so that it's a kind of easy to follow from a what you would do perspective, so that you don't have to dream something up on your own. We're going to give you a framework to participate so that you can decide if there's something in that framework that works for your particular business. And then most importantly, what we want to do is do it in a way that lives on beyond just your decision to make a contribution to Gleaners. We want this to become a part of your brand in a way that ultimately will help sustain your business going forward as well, because if people know that you have a giving heart, they have a tendency to want to support you just that little bit more than if they don't know that about your business. So if you're a fast casual restaurant and you want to participate, there's a great way for you to do that through your POS system, just by rounding up and giving the difference as a donation to Gleaners as part of the program. You can do donation jars at your checkout. There's a million different ways for you to be able to do that, sort of add some dollar figure to the ticket that someone's already buying from you in order to create that additional level of donation for Gleaners. And then as you move outside of that tier, it really gives you the opportunity to think of things like, could you come up with a special that would be specific to Gleaners, so that when people are making a purchase from your menu or from your whatever it is that you sell, you have something specific that those proceeds are designated as being earmarked for Gleaners during that time period, which really helps you promote a specific item or items from your menu that might be able to drive additional foot traffic or ordering traffic to your establishment. And then at the top of the pyramid, where we're really putting the totality of our efforts into trying to promote your business, is through the featured restaurant and brewery of the month, where we're going to spend some more time than just social media promotion and really developing a piece of content that is specific to you being featured as the restaurant of the month, so that you have something to hold on to for the long term as a piece of marketing content that you can use, not just to promote your participation in the Gleaners program, but really promote who you are as a business going forward for yourself in what we hope would be something that would be memorable and something that you would be excited to have as a result of what it is that Gleaners and Social Good Promotions are going to do for you as a thank you for your being featured in that way. So the other piece of this that you might want to know is like, well, okay, how often can I participate, and can I bounce between categories? Can I start with something relatively small and work my way up into something a little bit more sophisticated along the way? And the answer is an unequivocal yes. So what we want you to understand is you can do this round up your bill thing, or whatever it is you want to do at the register, for as long as you'd like. And as long as you have it going, we will continue to promote those efforts via the marketing that we're doing on behalf of people who are participating in the program. And then of course, we'd expect that you would be doing the same thing while you have that promotion open. But it's going to be primarily through social media and the very robust Gleaners email list that numbers 3,000 plus, that we will be using as the means by which to communicate which businesses are participating in each of those tiers. So if you come up similarly with a product-based special, those are limitless as well. As many people as want to participate at any one time can do that. And we'll be communicating this information by way of social media and newsletter in order to keep that visibility just as high as we possibly can. And then when we get into the more coveted spot, we're actually fortunate enough to already have November complete. Woo woo! We were able to get it done because of the generous efforts of Witch's Hat Brewing Company in South Lyon and Tony Sacco's in Heartland. We're really excited to launch the program with these two partners and featuring them. And it's those examples that we'll be using as the basis by which to sort of tease all of you about the possibility of you maybe joining us as well, because We're really excited with the piece of content that we were able to create for Witch's Hat and what it ultimately ended up looking like, which is something we're proud of. We hope you'll be excited to see it as well. So if you are, what we would want you to know is that we do have the window for applications open for the December slot now. And we will be routing all of that through Emily. So Emily is your contact point for those applications. You'll want to just let her know of your desire to want to participate. And if there's something specific that's going on in your establishment that you would want to tie into that December promotion, we would start working with you almost immediately on what that would be, so as to give you the most time possible to make that look and sound the best that it possibly can. And then we're already looking into the first quarter of next year. We're ready to accept applications pretty much from now until December 15th for any organizations who would be interested in slotting into the first quarter of next year. And we will do yeoman's work to try to sift through all of those applications in enough time to be able to announce before the end of the year, so that those folks who are going to be participating in January will have as much time as they will want to get themselves ready, willing, and able. So let's take a look at what's going on this month from the November launch, which we will be getting ready to distribute in email format here coming up relatively soon. So you see Tony Sacco's is offering a buy one, get one, where they're giving you half off a large. So if you buy one, you get the second one half off. So obviously, you know, all of the rules that typically apply to which is the more expensive pizza and which is the one that gets half off. You guys know the rules, you know how to play. So, and that coupon is valid for the entire month of November. So please, by all means, pop over to Tony Sacco's to make that happen. And then here's a little sneak peek behind what we've done for the Tony Sacco's feature of the month.
And there was a counselor from the Small Business Development Center there that took a liking to us and started to talk about our business plan. We met with him later. He took our 12-page plan, ripped it up essentially, and helped us build a 37-page plan that eventually got us funded, both while unemployed, both while completely broke. It's one of those stories that we just didn't think would actually happen.
To look back since then, you know, Aaron mentioned the change, and I think if our brewery represents anything, it's a constant, fluid motion of progression with how we are growing and expanding our business. We moved from down there, we were bursting at the seams for the first few years, to the point where, you know, people were not coming to see us because it was so small. So we moved to our current facility, which is much larger. You know, we went from 1,600 square feet to 10,000 square feet. We have, you know, beautiful 99-seat tap room now, much larger brewing system. We just put in a brand new kitchen, which was always a focus of, always a dream of ours and a goal to achieve.
And there was a counselor.
So there you have it. We're really excited about that piece of content. That is my version of the trailer, but the 2-minute and 40-second commercial version of that, we've had the good fortune to see the first cut of it. It's really high quality. We're really excited to be able to gift that back to Witch's Hat on behalf of them supporting us this month through the free pretzel program that they're offering. So we're going to hear more about that and what's going on at Witch's Hat, but we're just so glad to see the program really start to come together, because here's what we know. If you can create compelling pieces of content, you will get participation. If you can create bridges to nonprofits, you do create bridges to the supporters of the causes that those nonprofits represent. And the thing that you need to really recognize is that in these moments when dollars are a little uncertain, people are looking for that something extra to make them feel good about the choice that they're making to spend money. So if you give them something in the way of a story to give them the confidence to feel like they're doing the right thing to make that purchase decision, they will do it more so than they will without that information. And then secondarily, there's this group of buyers called Generation Z who have more money and more time on their hands than at any other time in what feels like human history. And what this little chart shows you is that 24% of them are really interested in finding out what their purpose is. And when they're finding out their purpose, what they're usually doing is trying to figure out the things that they care about most. And I'm guessing some of them will care about hunger and food insecurity. So if you are trying to connect that passion with your own brand, what better way to do that than through a partnership with Gleaners, where we can prove to you that your participation will have a positive effect on the community and also will help drive traffic to what it is that you do that people give you money for. So that's
Could you bring back that chart? Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Aaron, and there you go.
There you
Perfect. Thanks.
Yeah. So, you know, the idea here is we really are trying to create entertaining and inspiring pieces of content for our featured restaurants and breweries every month to help build those bridges that we're talking about right now. And I'm so thoroughly grateful and thankful, Bridget and Emily, for you all to have solicited Social Good Promotions to try to help tell the story. It's going to be a lot of fun for us to figure out what this is going to look like through the next 11 months. But if anyone out there in the community listening to this feels the pull of this being a passion for you, then by all means, Emily is ready, willing, and able to help you figure out what it is that we can do for you. And we have 11 slots open for 2 each month. So there's 22 possible combinations that we may be able to put together for you and really do something fun and exciting and memorable while raising money for an important cause at the same time. Did I miss anything, Emily?
No, I'm thankful that we're pulling this together and it's all happening. And Roger, that you're on our team to make this happen too. I think I'm just really excited to see something extend our Iron Chef, efforts in the community. And everybody that attends Iron Chef is essentially a foodie. So this is the group of people that we all want to get in touch with. And I mean, you mentioned that we have over 3,000 people just in Livingston County that are on our email lists. Obviously, Gleaners has a lot more across our whole network, and some materials we might pull into those larger outreach pieces. But on our social media alone, anytime that we post, it'll go out to at least 50,000 people potentially on our Facebook. We also have Twitter, etc. So whenever good content is built, we want to share it because we're in Livingston County doing this work. That's where we are trying to make up this fundraising piece, but we do cover a 5-county area. So if you're looking to reach more people and get people to know what you're up to, there's a lot of opportunities too. And we're really open to how this can build out. We've got some great ideas, I think, and I'm excited to emphasize with different restaurants what they can do in Livingston County. But we need your help getting there, though. So hopefully we start seeing those signups here pretty soon.
Emily, any closing thoughts?
No, I think that you guys really covered it. I too am really excited. I had a lot of fun filming at Witch's Hat, talking with Tony Saccos. I love working with the restaurants and getting this thing launched and kicked off. So I'm looking forward to working with everybody and doing more of this. It's a lot of fun. So
yeah, and bringing it back to the mission, right?
Yeah.
So this is great. Thank you. Thank you all.
All right. Well, there you have it. We will get this posted and ready just as quickly as we possibly can. And we will look forward to announcing our next set of participants for December and beyond. And for those of you who spent the time and energy and effort to hear us out, we say thank you, thank you, thank you. Until next time.